gonna take all of us to heal this world. It's gonna take all of us.
It is day 6 here at COP28 and we have an exciting program for you. We're talking innovation, fashion and startups. Let's check it out.
It's the start of the day at COP. We are very excited and we are seeing a number of climate activists, environmentalists striking at COP28, and they are saying don't gas Africa, don't gas Asia, and they want to see that the fossil fuels are reduced, are stopped. And according to some of the plenaries from the world leaders, what they spoke, from Al Gore, from Guterres, they communicated to us that we must stop, we must phase out the fossil fuel. And we have seen that this is following to some of the pledges which were made for loss and damage. But what Africa wants, what Asia wants, what other continents want, and today what the youth are doing, they are saying don't gas Africa. The fossil fuel have to stop and everything has to stop. As you see behind me, a lot of work is going on. A number of youth are speaking their mind. They are saying to the world leaders, let that stop today. Let the greenwash stop today. Let that stop today. Don't gas Africa, don't gas Asia. And this is what is happening. It's exciting, it's a morning and everyone is happy. I'm also happy because if we don't gas Africa, we are protecting the future, we are protecting the ecosystem, we are protecting the biodiversity, and everything is good. If things can go like this with the youth, they have a future, they are going to take over. They have already, if the world leaders can listen, because every world leader is here at COP and everyone is listening to what they are saying. Chanting, don't gas Africa, don't gas Asia.
Don't gas Africa, don't gas Asia, don't gas Africa.
That's what is happening here at COP28. Thank you.
So let's check out the Startup Hub where ideas come to life.
All right now we're in the startup village in the green zone. It's so exciting, so many startups to explore. All right, so come along with me and we'll go looking.
And we are a Hong Kong company to provide the smart building solutions, and for example for the energy saving or for better management for the building owners. Yeah. So here are our part of our IoT solution. You know, IoT solution it contains the devices. We call that sensors. So we use these sensors to collect different data. For example, the indoor environment air quality, or also the people occupancy, and also the odor of the restroom, something like that. And we also provide the, for example here, we also provide some digital meters to collect the electricity consumption or the water consumption for the buildings. Yeah. So when after we having this data, we can do a lot of analytics works to let the building owners know more deeply about his or her building and the performance of the building. So nowadays we already successfully deploy some our platforms to so many Hong Kong buildings. So according to our record, it can help the building to save about 5 to 15% per year to save for saving their energy.
All right, so my name is Pedro Miranda, and I'm the founder and CEO of Abundance Brazil. Abundance Brazil is a climate tech which are expanding the creation of new forests. So what we do, we generate nature-based assets for new forests that we are planting in Brazil, and we are open to expand this all over the world. So we already have 300,000 trees planted. We generate 1 token for each tree that we're planting. We sell those to companies that wants and needs to decarbonize their emissions, so they can report about how they're doing this. And for the sales, 70% goes to the landowner. So this is how we're creating financial incentive to expand more forests for coming up in the next few years. So we have this mission to enable the planting of 1 billion trees until 2030. So it's very important to be here. We were selected by a Brazilian government to be one of the Brazilian startups to be here. Yes, it is important to remove the carbon from the atmosphere to maintain the 1.5. But biodiversity is life. It's fauna, it's life. So there is much more than carbon that we need to be talking. Forests can generate beautiful fruits that we eat, like acai, cacao, and so on, things that we really use. So that we just need to have a wide spectrum of what the forest has to provide us, even though the oxygen that we breathe. So it's gonna take all of us.
Right. We work in Appalachia in the United States, which is a bunch of land that has been degraded by oil and coal and mining production. And so one of the reasons why we're at COP is to understand what the demand looks like for bringing our trees elsewhere, and also what other traits we should prioritize, not just for what would make climate resilience happen in the US, but everywhere. And what we've learned is that there's a large focus on drought tolerance, on salinity tolerance, and we're also working on developing trees that hyperaccumulate copper and can deposit that copper into the lignin of the tree, which is the bark. And what's important about developing hyperaccumulating trees that can accumulate more copper is the fact that that copper can oftentimes make big parcels of land in the global south and Africa not arable at all. So if we can deposit that copper into the lignin of the tree, actually where then it could act as more durable wood products and clean the soil at the same time, there can be benefits across the board. Our main focus has been on deploying carbon projects. Right now, we are really excited to do some ornamental tree planting in cities. So we're looking at planting in schools in California, as well as we've actually had at least 100 of our trees planted by the Boy Scouts of America in Boston. So it's not our core business, but it's definitely something that is important for us to do from a community perspective.
Women's leadership perspective is still lacking in the climate dialogue. Our Youth4Planet reporter Tenny brings us this special report.
Hi, today I'm in the media center, and behind me you can see live feeds. A lot is going down. There's been a lot of energy going around. A lot of new decisions are being made. And today I want to touch on one of the most important decisions. I would term it really crucial. And that is the new partnership that was made as regards gender equality and the role of women in the climate crisis. Now, I'm sure we all understand that the climate crisis is a rolling ball. Yes, and at the end of this, always someone suffering at the end of the traction. Now, following the discussions, it has been determined that women and children, specifically women, are the most vulnerable and the worst hit by the climate crisis. And the reason for this is that most women, specifically in the Asian and African continent, are involved in jobs. And the reason for this is that women in the African continent and Asia are mostly farmers. We see a lot of subsistence farming going on in Africa, in Asia, and what's happening in the environment. We see a lot of drought. We see really bad flooding happening in these areas, and they are losing land, they are losing their farmlands, they are losing their source of livelihoods. Now, this touches me personally because in Nigeria, especially in the northern areas, they're not only losing land, there's a lot of conflicts going on as a result. People are fighting for farmlands because it is a source of livelihood. And as a result, you have a rural-urban flow. The women are racing away from the conflicts, from the crisis, and they're being placed in small camps, IDP camps. A lot of these women are so vulnerable because they have nothing. They have left their homes burning behind, and they have completely nothing. And so we're looking at poverty, we're looking at impoverished women and children, we're looking at starvation, and so many of these issues. Some of these women are exposed to crime, they're exposed to, being violated in so many ways. The question is, what is the government doing about it? What discussions are being had? If we're talking about climate change, climate action, these are some of the things that need to be taken into consideration. How are we going to protect these vulnerable groups? How do we protect our children? How do we protect our women? Because we need to be thinking long term. What's going to happen to the future generations if we leave these things to go on as they are? So yes, this is one of the decisions, this is one of the agreements that was made to bring women into the conversation, to place them in leadership positions where they get to make decisions that concern the women, that concern vulnerable women in these communities. If we look at issues in Ethiopia, for instance, where we had the 40-year drought period, a lot of girls had to stay back because the boys needed education. They needed to be sent to school. These young girls had to stay back. There was no more farming. Then somebody needed to go out and make a livelihood and make a living. And the boys were sent off to school, the girls stayed back. What does that mean for girl child education? So what is happening, and everyone knows, when we think carefully about this, everyone knows if we develop and if we change the way we do things, if we educate the mother, we educate the women, we educate whole generations. So this is a very, very important discussion, and I'm very pleased that the talks are finally ongoing about it, and people are gradually doing something. We had over 60 countries coming in agreement and making that decision to finally bring women into the conversation, to look into aspects where they have not considered gender equality and just consider how women can be helped in these communities. All right, let's go look at some of the key highlights from this session.
I'm delighted to welcome you here today to our event, Walking the Talk, Integrating Gender into the Paris Agreement. My name is Barbara Rambusek. I'm the Director for Gender and Equality of Opportunity at EBRD. Integrating gender into climate action is absolutely imperative. We cannot achieve the big changes that need to happen in terms of how we live, how we work, how we do business, if we don't draw on the ingenuity and talent and skills and expertise of everybody in society. So in a way, gender equality and climate change, tackling climate change, are two sides of the same coin. And we need to deliver those solutions, and we need to act very fast.
I'm very excited to be here to be a part of this incredible lineup to really talk about gender and climate finance. And I want to really thank all of you joining us here and also online to explore ways to really advance equitable, just, and gender-sensitive climate finance for all. So I believe we can do more to prepare women and girls for climate action and climate adaptation. As you know, women are disproportionately impacted by climate change and need to be proportionately represented in the decision-making to find solutions. Our perspectives, our expertise, our voices have to be heard.
At the EBRD, we are committed to accelerating Egypt's green economy transition whilst promoting a more inclusive and gender-equal economy. Our aim is to support Egypt to meet its renewable energy targets of 42% by 2035 and to make sure that women are fully part of this transition.
A sustainable transition towards a greener economy can only take place if it creates economic opportunities for all. Without the integration of women as key economic actors and decision makers, we will not achieve sustainable solutions. Therefore, it is of central importance to us that our programs promote equal opportunities for men and women in the growing renewable energy sector in Egypt. However, as we found in our assessment, the participation of women in the renewable sector in Egypt is still 21%. Reasons for this include a lack of childcare facilities and flexible work policies, but also existing cultural and social norms. We therefore work closely with our clients and partners to enable more women to gain the right skills and routes into careers in the sector, to create high-quality training programs and improve safety and working conditions for all. Looking into the future, we also look forward to supporting the development of a women energy network in Egypt. All this helps the workforce diversity and talent pool for companies in the renewable sector and opens up access to jobs and careers for everyone.
Looking ahead, our goal is to help the Egyptian renewable sector grow,
with more female talent in it.
Hello everybody, greetings, namaste, vanakkam. I'm Prasiddhi, I'm 11 years old, I'm from India, southern part of India, Tamil Nadu, and this is my first COP. So I work in nature-based solutions, climate action and climate education primarily. I'm the founder of two organizations, Prasiddhi Forest Foundation and the Green Pillar. And I've been working in this climate space for the past 7 years from the age of 4. So Prasiddhi Forest Foundation, which is a non-profit organization, is focused on nature-based solutions. So agroforestry, mangrove plantation, indigenous tree plantation, agroforestry, and beach cleanups. So I've planted 130,000 trees across 85 places. And my second organization, the Green Pillar, is a climate education initiative. And in this, we have several different online courses and programs for children and youth and even corporates and industries. And I have mobilized 80,000 people across 20 countries, and this is what I've been doing, and I would love to collaborate with everybody and promote about the potential children and youth possess and the difference we can make by taking real action and implementing nature-based solutions.
It takes all of us.
So as youth, we sometimes can be very frustrated from all the things that we hear about the climate crisis. There's a drought, there's a wildfire, people are dying, which are very, very bad news. And we can feel frustrated and overwhelmed with that, especially when you are alone in your country or your region advocating for change. And seeing people, or young people, coming from all over the world here to COP and having a shared ambition, shared goal, this really makes you hopeful and motivates you to do more because your work matters and you can change something.
Yeah, so it's been a great few days here at the COP28 in Dubai. So lots of things to see and to do, a lot of negotiations and like the atmosphere to experience, but also to network, to meet so many people and youth that are like working on the same goals or like same topics. So it's very empowering. And we hope we can share a bit of like all the craziness going around here also with the youth like everywhere, so that people that couldn't come here, and also we will fight for the future and like for changes in politics and policy, also for everybody at home. And if they have something to say to us or something that we should advocate in the next coming days and like week, then they can totally reach out to us. Our like by Instagram, our thing is @PlantForThePlanet_official. So just feel free to drop us a message. We look forward to it, and we look forward to real policy action here in Dubai.
Welcome to the COP28 Trending Topics in German Media. While over 250 members of the German government are taking part in the climate event of the year, German coal and gas plants are running at full speed. Due to the drop in temperatures and heavy snowfall, Germany is once again relying not on renewable but fossil energies. Just 2 days ago, Olaf Scholz called for a global phase-out of coal, oil and gas. The daily newspaper Berliner Zeitung refers to the inconsistencies of Germany's climate politics as a gulf between ideology and reality which has rarely ever been greater. The snow has also sparked a debate on the mere existence of climate change, contributing to more disinformation. At the same time, COP President Al-Jaber questioned the need for a fossil fuel phase-out and faced criticism. German Fridays for Future activist Luisa Neubauer responds, "When key people question the scientific consensus, it makes a fool of the whole negotiation process. We are here to protect the dignity and integrity of this conference." The presence of climate activists such as Neubauer remains important, since recent evaluations by the coalition Kick Big Polluters Out revealed that a total of almost 2,500 fossil fuel lobbyists are attending the COP this year. That's 4 times as many as last year. In comparison, however, only around 1,500 delegates from the 10 countries most vulnerable to global warming are present.
I'm super excited to be here. Coming to COP was one of my biggest dreams. I never thought that I would actually make it, but now that I'm here, I'm just so full of gratitude. Because you see, we have so many climate issues back in Nigeria, with the droughts, the flooding, the poor waste management systems. There are just so many issues that need addressing. And I just felt that coming to COP, it would give us an idea how to address these issues. Personally, on a very personal note, the land means everything to me. I feel that we are all connected to the land. We're connected to the air, to the vegetation, to the forest. It is who we are. It is part of who we are on the very inside. There's a very spiritual aspect to it. And I feel that as human beings, we have a responsibility to look after what we've been given, what we've been privileged to have, to experience. The air, the birds, the trees, the land, the waters, all of these things, they are part of us, and they need nurturing, they need to be looked after, they need to be cared for. It seems, it just feels as though we're just moving so fast, so concerned about urbanization, concerned about things that really shouldn't matter, that don't matter in the long run, that we're forgetting about the nature, we're forgetting about the land. What are we leaving for our children tomorrow? I'm afraid that my kids may never get to see fireflies, or even butterflies, or even the stars. You know, we struggle to even see the stars these days. There's so much pollution that people are running away from the rural areas and they're racing to the urban areas. They're more interested in the fast cars, you know, interested in big buildings. Running away from what? And what are we running towards? Wealth? What are we really looking for? You know, at the end of the day, we should live like tomorrow is here. Tomorrow is part of us. We should be looking at building a future that is sustainable. And that is the story that I want to tell. I want to spread this message, spread this awareness to everyone that I come across back home. I want the young people around me to learn and to understand the importance of the land that we live in. Because this land, it gives us our food. This land this is where we breathe. This is where we live. And I just really hope that I can send this message across, that I can tell the story in a way that impacts the lives of people in Nigeria.
I'm here going for the session to see how companies are accelerating methane reduction and so decarbonization of oil and gas companies. So let's go.
Nice meeting you at COP28.
My name is Justine Rohr. I'm part of the Oil and Gas Climate Initiative. So this is a CEO-led organization, 12 member companies all around the world. We have Petrobras in Brazil, we have CNPC in China, American companies, European companies as well. We have been created in 2014, around the Paris COP. We have been working with our companies since 2014 on decarbonization and how they can reduce their emissions in their scope 1 and 2, as well as how they can, provide and scale up the solutions, the low carbon solutions. So this is something we have been doing for quite a while, and but at a small scale, right? 12 companies reaching out to their partners, and I was there because since last year we have been helping the COP team to frame this charter, to embark through the member companies that we have, embark more companies, NOCs that have, for some of them, it was the first time they were committing to something on climate. And so we are very excited to now put the wheels in motion. So when we started, there was obviously, because of the diversity of the companies and where they come from, what they have been working on, etc. There is this kind of collaborative mindset, which is critical, and I think which has been kind of explicitly mentioned quite a number of times today. And so when they sat together, they worked together. We committed to, the first target we released at the OGCI level, not the company level, but at the OGCI level was in 2018 on methane. So we set the baseline. We had a target of 0.25% of methane emissions in the production. We reached this target. Now we launched the Aiming for Zero initiative in 2022 that basically said methane, it's like safety, right? You can't afford it. You need to target the zero. You might not reach this point, but you need to be really as low as possible. And so we have tried to amplify, to embark others. And we released the report a few weeks ago. And between 2017 and 2022, we halved the methane emissions within our membership. So we are pretty excited to see the number of companies that are actually now joining. So we can basically expand, and companies within OGCI can also, share the challenges they face, the technologies they have deployed, and yeah. So the thing with the methane emissions is the global warming potential, which is almost 100% worse than carbon dioxide, and so hence the urgency, right? It's we need to solve it now, and so when our companies started working on methane. I think as Occidental, which is one of the companies of OGCI mentioned, they started running some campaign, LDAR campaigns, satellites, drone, aircrafts, to try to understand where the leakages of methane were, and then obviously to fix them. And we also, this kind of knowledge sharing among companies happened within OGCI. We also worked with the other organizations to expand it. And one thing that we worked on, for instance, in the last few months within OGCI, so this is an OGCI project, is that we worked with a satellite company, and we picked up some assets in some specific countries where we know methane emissions are really high.
You can give examples of that.
Yes, so we worked initially with Iraq. We expanded then with Algeria, Egypt, Kazakhstan. And so the idea is we select some assets, we engage with the operators. We inform them that we would like to run some campaigns to see, etc. What we've noticed is that they are always super keen to work, and to better understand, where their emissions and their leaks are. And the satellite runs, the campaign runs, and when we detect some plumes of methane, we contact them, just kind of in a friendly, constructive approach. We inform them, that we see some leakages, and most of the time the answer that we receive is they are super grateful that we brought this information. They want to know more how to fix, they want to know more how to improve their processes as well, and this is something that has been actually quite successful in the past few months, and obviously with the scale now of the oil and gas decarbonization charter, we really believe that there is there is a way to get there. And it's going to take all of us.
Wow, it is amazing hearing from all the startups who are also trying to make an impact on the environment. I know that I, for one, am inspired, and I hope you are too, whether it's at home, in your community, or whether you're trying to start a business. There are small changes that we can all make to make a huge difference. So what are you waiting for? Don't forget to scan this QR code and send your questions in, as it helps shape our program, and we love hearing from you. But for now, goodbye from me, and I'll see you tomorrow.
It's gonna take all of us to heal this world. It's gonna take all of us. Let's go. To make a change, it's gonna take all of us. To heal this world, it's gonna take all of us. To make a change, it's gonna take all of us. To heal this world, it's gonna take all of us. To make gonna take all of us. To heal this world, it's gonna take all of us. To make a change, it's gonna take all of us. To heal this world, it's gonna take all of us. Let me hear you sing. To make a change, it's gonna take all of us. To heal this world, it's gonna take all of us. To make a change, it's gonna take all of us. To heal this world, it's gonna take all of us. To make a change, it's gonna take all of us. To heal this world, it's gonna take all of us.
It's gonna take all of us. To heal this world, it's gonna take all of us. To make a change, it's gonna take all of us. To heal this world, it's gonna take all of us. To make a change, it's gonna take all of us. To heal this world, it's gonna take all of us. To make a change. It's gonna take all of us.